Hello there, this is DBT and these are the rooms. And alright, let's continue playing some more Asphalt 8. And today I'm gonna be doing a multiplayer protest of the car you see on the screen right now, which is the Naran Hyper Coupe. And this is the main car for the current racing pass, and you might be wondering, hey DBT, is this car worth it? Should I pay and get the racing pass? Is it even good? Well, we're gonna try to find out, but before I get into it, if you enjoy my content, please hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. This helps the channel to be discovered, more people can find these videos, and more eyes is more better. So go ahead, like and subscribe for some more Asphalt 8 right here. But alright, today, like I mentioned, we're gonna talk about this car, but really I wanna have a quick look at the racing pass itself, because, well, we're gonna check the rewards. And now here on my beginner account, we actually get to see all of the rewards, and I will just go quickly on this. You know that on the right side is the premium rewards if you go and pay the, well, you know, the premium price for it. On the left side, you're gonna have the free rewards. So this is the normal stuff, right? The ultimate upgrade, the Dodge Tomahawk, some direct upgrades, storage slots, and an outfit. But when it comes to the cars that are featured in this pass, the first one is gonna be the Bentley Continental GT3, which is kind of funny because 1 year ago we got a racing pass featuring both this and also the same main car. But regardless, this is a classic car for rank of 1501, and I'll be honest with you, it looks great in my opinion, but it's not a very good car for the bracket, not particularly competitive, especially against the Kings. So yeah, this is more just for collection, not necessarily for upgrading. When it comes to Class B, we have the Mercedes-Benz SL65 AMG Black Series, which honestly I have no idea what's the deal with this car because I wasn't quite aware that I even own it. I was like, what car is that? What class is that? Isn't that like C? No, it's apparently B. It's of the bracket of 1590. I have no experience with this, though I will tell you that this is an empty bracket. It's hard to find people over there, so keep that in mind. Now, having a look at the other vehicles, for Class D on the last page, the proper free car is going to be the TVR Sagaris, a car of the bracket of 1320, and that's exactly the rank that it has at Pro. And, well, it, at the very least, is a very cool looking car with a really interesting dual tone combination. The overall colors for this car can be quite nice, but yeah, that is the free car this time around, so you at the very least will be able to claim that. But when it comes to the higher classes, for Class A, we have the Lotus Evija, which is a car that you don't hear a lot of people talking about, but it's considerably strong in the sense that while it does have some heavy handling, the perfect nitro on this thing is quite long, so it's really good for very long tracks. I tend to use it a lot in some of the TLEs. The free tries of Class A and all of that, whatever. But when it comes to Class S, as mentioned, it's gonna be the Naran Hyper Coupe. What an interesting looking car, but let me show it to you at Pro. And here it is. Class S car of a rank of 1861 when pro'd out. Here's all of the stats of the car, even with the tuning kit, though as I always say, this doesn't tell us a whole lot of anything in terms of the performance, but there is the numbers. I will briefly mention though that there's also a car hunt that just started for the Faraday Future FF01, a very powerful Class S car, so just let's keep that in mind. For now, let's play with this car. Now, if you're wondering, how does DBT remember that there was a racing pass a year ago with these same two cars? Does he have that level of memory? Of course not. It's because a year ago I made the first protest of this car in my channel. So if you're curious, go ahead and check the video. I'll put the link in the top right if you want to watch that. And while I'm doing the protest right now, maybe it's interesting for you to see how it was a year ago. That's not to say that the performance of the car itself changed, but rather the competition has changed, and well, you know, now with the introduction of sport lines and all of that, yeah, the competition is certainly different. But still, the car at the very least is one very interesting looking one, and I know that some people don't find it super appealing because it's a big one. It's like a sedan with a wing, which is fair enough. That was the intention of this car after all, but I do believe that it's interesting. It has some really cool color combinations as well, so I certainly appreciate that, and that's gonna be a 4th place. But in a race with 12 players, I don't think that's necessarily bad. And alright, let's see what I beat. Or what beat me. Alright, so I got beaten by a Tushek Apex, a Fenner, Bolide, a Sportline, and yeah, that's it. But I did beat the CC850, Bolide, Racer Tachyon, and a Tomahawk. Other than that, on the ranked or on boosted, it's fine. Now, it's kind of difficult for me to say whether this car it's great or it's bad, because as I've explained a million times here in the channel, pretty much all of the cars in the game are competitive. That is to say that they can put a fight against the other cars in the same bracket. However, this is starting to lose a little bit of meaning when you consider that we have not only the initial card that broke the rules of the classes races in the form of the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute with a rank of 1864, but then with the inclusion also of the Venom F5 at 1865, and now with the cars in Sportline mode that again keep on breaking this rule that the maximum rank allowed was 1862. We have more and more a situation in which we're getting more powerful cars in the bracket. And of course then when you also consider the whole thing of the VIP system and all of that, yeah, the races are getting less and less fair as time goes on, depending, well, on your VIP status or which cars do you have. Now, I've heard the argument that the introduction of a Sportline is a good thing because it allows players that don't have access to something like the Jesko Absolute or the Venom F5 to have a card that is very powerful in the class. And with that, I will agree. For now, I got a second place, which is, again, not too bad, not too good either. It was only 6 players, so there's that. Defeated by an Aventador, a very not powerful card of this bracket, but I did beat an Absolute, so and a Sportline Bolita as well. Jesus. Well, from 6 players to 11, though, I think it's gonna be just 10 because one seems to have just disconnected. By the way, if you hear my voice cracking a little bit, it's been a busy day, so my voice is a little bit busted. I'm trying to make it not super terrible, but here we are. But anyway, we are in the longest map of the entire game, and this is definitely gonna be a test to the nitro of this thing, which I will tell you is not very good. But anyway, continuing with the point that I was making on the previous race, as I was saying, I do understand this idea that Sportline does allow players to have access to powerful cars that are not necessarily the hyper... Ooh, RIP to that dude. The hyper premium cars of Class S. That makes sense. However, the part that doesn't make sense, in my opinion, is this whole thing... Oh, I'm so sorry, but I wasn't trying to push it. The part that doesn't make sense to me, it's continue to have more cars of higher rank in this bracket of Class S. Class S, as is already a very, very, very busy bracket. There's a gajillion cars over there. And then on top of that, you have that a bunch of these cars are very considerably over-ranked compared to the other ones. They go considerably faster and all of that. So I don't know, I feel like it's breaking more and more the balance of this bracket. I think it's about time that Gameloft added a new class in the game, Class X or Class R or whatever you want it to be, but a new class where they're gonna be fitting all of these cars that go above the rank of 1862 so that the shape of the brackets is respected. And in that way, we will still be able to use all of our Class S cars in relatively fair races up to rank 1862, and then have the 63, 64, 65, 66, 66, you know, I stopped myself on that one. Have a new class where all of those cars can compete without messing with the existing Class S, but hey, what do I know? That's another second place, which again, not terrible, and considering that there were a bunch of racers over here, I'll take it. So it was the Absolute that beat me, but I did beat everything else, including, let's see, what was the most interesting thing? Couple of Huayra BC's Sportline and a Bugatti Bolida Sportline, another Absolute. Well, now, while in a way, this previous race proves the case against the point that I was just making on how the races are becoming more unbalanced or unfair, there's another thing to consider that, as I always say, multiplayer is a lot of randomness happening. So yeah, there's gonna be cases in which I'm gonna defeat very powerful cars simply because I either drove a little bit better or they just had a really bad race or something happened, whatever. So there's always that case that can occur. But the point that I'm making is simply that when it comes to the numbers of the cars, the stats of the cars, while the brackets have been relatively balanced in general, now this particular bracket is getting more and more lopsided, and it will continue to do so. Oh, Jesus Christ, as time goes by, if they continue adding more and more of these Sportline cars or more of the cars that naturally already are on a higher rank. For example, the Jesko Absolute, the Venom F5, or nowadays even the Kachinger, which is of the rank of 1863. And yes, I pronounce it Kachinger. I know it's pronounced Zinger, but to me it's the Kachinger, and it will never stop being the Kachinger, all right? It's fine. If you don't know why I call it that, I don't either. I just started calling it like that in Asphalt Legends. Whoa, this guy is lagging like into the future, Jesus. But anyway, so yeah, it is a bit annoying how this whole thing of the brackets work currently, specifically this bracket. What the bull. I'm fine. You love when you get this. That was pretty much like a 95% completed barrel roll, but the game was like, nah, I won't count it. Thank you, game. Appreciate it. Could have been a first or second place, but whatever, I'm fine. I'm not bothered. You are bothered. But now it's time for a spiral drift test, and let's see how this thing drifts. I kind of have forgotten since the last time that I tested it, but let's check it out again, and here we go. All right, that is an okay drift. Nothing amazing, but certainly not bad. And here's a second attempt just for good measure, see if I can do it a little bit better. And yeah, all right, you know, again, nothing amazing, but nothing terrible either. Now I'm doing it in the opposite direction because I always do this and it feels assisted because I'm drifting down. You know how this works, right? But here we go anyway, and yeah. All right, this feels better. It always, most of the times it feels better in this direction. The drift definitely is not bad. It's nothing amazing, but it's certainly quite usable. But now for the acceleration test, this might just work. As I've explained before, nowadays I don't spend too much time trying to find a different car that I can accelerate cleanly because, man, this game takes forever to load. So instead, I'm just going with whatever the game throws at me. Again, given the acceleration of this car, which is not very good, it's not too surprising that I'm not able to quickly out-accelerate anybody, but hey, whatever, this should be relatively close to the actual time. But as I always say as well, I like doing it here in gauge drift where there's absolutely nobody to get in your way. So it's a perfectly clean time from the start to the wall, even if the time is counting down. But there you have it. But before we get back into the races, I want to show you the color options for this car because, man, the colors are great. You just saw the white with this bluish tint in the acceleration test. You also saw it in full black in the test for drift. And at the start of this video, I was driving in this color combination. But the default color is actually this one, which is a combination of gray plus this tan color down here. We got it also in this more tan color in general, yellow with black. And then we have two really cool colors. First, we have this one, which is green, again with these tan colors, but it makes them look a little bit more goldish, I suppose. And also this fancy purple-ish, reddish tone, whatever it is. Man, these colors are dope. Holy smokes, this is so up and down when it comes to the actual races. We were in pretty full lobbies, and now I got into a 4-player lobby. It's so rare for me to find these lobbies here in Master Season nowadays. And yeah, I continue to record in Master Season because, well, you see by now that a lot of people are playing a bit more seriously over here, more competitively. So that works pretty well when I want to record some protest of Class S cars. What? How did he pick that up? And I'm still not in the correct league in Classic Season, so it's fine. But anyway, let's talk about the overall performance of this car because I haven't really talked about it. Ooh, RIP to that dude. The car is very mid, all right? There's no two ways about it. The car is mid. It has mid acceleration, it has mid drift, it has mid nitro, it has mid handling. Everything about this car is mid, except maybe the looks, but then that's very subjective. The color combinations are kind of dope, a few of them. So yeah, this car is absolutely nothing amazing. And that's a kind of funny for me to be saying how mid this car is, and this is the only race in which I get a W. It's fine. I mean, I got a W because the other guy crashed, but hey, I'll take it. And to prove my point just a little more when it comes to the lobbies, we went from a 4-player lobby to an 11-player lobby, though it was more like 10. Someone was kind of disconnecting at the start. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of players. So in Venice, I do imagine this is going to be a bit of a mess, but let's try it anyway. Where am I starting? Second place. All right. But once again, my acceleration is not necessarily going to... Oh, hello. Well, the guy accelerated with perfect nitro, so that is not ideal. But hey, you know what? I'll go with this lead because if I could keep it, that would be kind of dope. All right, let me try to focus on this race because it would be dope to get a proper W here. Oh, God, I knew I was going to bounce on that. Damn. That was my mistake. Skill issue, I know. Ooh, someone just disconnected. RIP. All right, well, I have quite the lead. All right, shut up, DBT. You might lose it at any time. Keep it together. Also, gotta say that I'm a little bit disappointed about the engine noise. Well, you know, I've said it before. This engine noise is not bad. It's just too quiet. So, there's that. I don't know why I went so wide on that corner, but it's fine. It's fine. I still have the lead. Come on now. Let me keep this. All right, against all of my expectations, I am going to get a... Turns out that if DBT focuses a little bit on the race, he can actually drive not too bad. says DBT as he drifted super wide, but okay. Tushek Apex, Devo, Conex 11, Aguera RS, Vantage 2022, SV, 110, La Boachunoir, and Juara BC Sportline. That's the one that quit. Oof. RIP. It's fine. Why so many of my last races on a video tend to be on the Great Wall? I have no idea, but it's fine. I mean, it's kind of funny because I make shorts of this sometimes, but a lot of them tend to be on this track, so it's like, once again? Okay, it's fine, I guess. If it works, it works. It is what it is. Oh, I like this song. And this is going to be also quite a bit of a full lobby, but anyway. So if you're wondering, hey DBT, should I go premium for the racing pass to acquire this car, the Naran Hyper Coupe? Well, I'm gonna say that you probably should not if you're trying to get a car that performs really good, because this isn't it. Ah, Jesus Christ! Like I said, this car is very, very mid. It is not particularly good at anything. It's not particularly bad at anything either. It's just there, in the middle of the road. However, why is everybody pushing me today? Jesus. However, if you're thinking of spending money in the game right now, as I'm recording this, there is a sale, or rather, there's a car hunt for the Faraday Future FF01, a much better, much more powerful Class S car. So maybe that's the one you want to go for, though that is more expensive than the Racing Pass, and also the Racing Pass, well, contains the ultimate upgrade for the easy upgrade of this car, plus some of the cars and direct upgrades. So there's a bunch of things that the Racing Pass will give you that a car hunt will not, but that is for your consideration. For now, like I said, this car is super mid, and this was an absolutely terrible race because everybody was just pushing me and knocking me down, but it is what it is. Alright, if you're gonna get a heart and a pin on this video, you need to leave me the key phrase, which for today is going to be, and 1 year later, this rare car continues to be as mid as always. First person to post it gets the heart, the pin, you know, all of that good stuff. If you enjoy my content, again, like, subscribe, and if you really like what I do, please consider joining the Room membership for access to exclusive videos and all of that. Check the perks by the join button. But that's all. Thank you for watching. See you next one. Bye-bye.